Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to Build. We are here with Texas-bred country star Cody Johnson. He has a brand new single out tomorrow. It's called On My Way to You, and an album in the works. So we've got a new single coming out tomorrow, On My Way to You. Right. You are by no means a new artist, but what is it on the eve of releasing music? Are you excited, nervous, anxious, wondering what people are gonna think? How does that sort of come through you?
You know, this project's been a long time in the works, over a year. Listened to a lot of songs, wrote a lot of songs, been through the recording process. We're down to the wire, and I don't know that there's any nerves at this point. There's no going back. We've already created the album, and it's kind of is what it is. But I feel like that this single is something that really encompasses my entire career path. It's straight up and down the kind of music I was writing and I was playing from the very beginning. It's just much more polished. It's much more refined. And the cool thing is that I got to do it on my own. This record, On My Way to You, and this record, Ain't Nothing To It, and my single, On My Way to You, were all done independently before we got to sign with Warner. So to know that what I was doing is working even after the merger, man, it's a really cool feeling. I don't have any complaints.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that merger in a little bit, but I am curious, when you wake up tomorrow morning, are you going to Google your name and the song and see how people feel about it?
Yes, yes, I am.
How many people tell you, they're like, Cody, stop. We will let you know how it's going.
No, I don't tell anybody. I'm pretty like, I try to stay out of the clouds. Like, I don't really pay attention to social media, or like, I won't watch this interview for a while.
So no pressure for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm that guy, man. I keep my head out of the clouds, but it is nice to see the ripples.
That. It is not your first love song, but this is a really nice one. I feel like it feels really important to you. It is about your journey towards your wife, who shows up a lot in your social media and your songs elsewhere. Why did you want to lead this album cycle with this song?
You know, so when I went through, I was so blessed this time around to have almost 1,000 songs that got pitched for this record. Yeah, we would listen to a lot of music. This song, On My Way to You, was one of the first 10 songs that I listened to, and as soon as I heard it, I went, we're not changing a thing about it. That's a song that I feel like I could have written. Right down to one of the lines in the songs is, I'll take a left at the bank. That means it's a small town with only one bank, and in my town, you have to take a left at it to go to my house. And I was just like, this is meant to be. Everything about this feels so perfect. Sonically, it feels great. I actually had this song and one other song as my opinion for first single. And when we made this Warner merger, I said, you guys, tell me what you think. Let's see what kind of page we're on. And they picked exactly what I would have. So it was a kind of a unanimous decision.
You like to just test them early on.
Yeah.
See if you guys are thinking the same thing.
The Cowboys coming out.
Your wife has actually inspired a lot of your music. I think that's so sweet to hear. I think you even said in an interview, when you write a breakup song, you're just picturing if she ever left you. Right. What is it like for her or your relationship to always have it sort of coming out in this creative channel? How do you always digest that?
You know, it's kind of hard because you don't want to write down everything. There's been times where, I mean, if you're married out there and you're listening, I don't care how much you love your spouse or how long you've been together, you're going to have fights. And sometimes, like for an artist, you channel those things and you write them down, but sometimes it's a little too personal. You know, you don't want to let every cat out of the bag. You kind of want to stay where everybody can be relative to it. It is a great reminder, though, because when I am away from my family a lot and I'm away from my wife and my kids, singing songs that I've written with them in the back of my head, you know, on stage, it's kind of a great reminder to keep going and keep driving and keep pressing.
I think you mentioned you have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Yes.
That is crazy. Not a lot of great sleep happening in that house.
No, they're both Tasmanian devils. It's pretty... Yeah.
You were making music since you're 12 years old. How did becoming a father change what you want to write about or what you want to do with your career?
It definitely shaped me in the way that I know that it brought home the fact that what I'm doing is going to be left to someone. You know, it's not just me and my wife or me and my band anymore. My girls are going to be looking at my music long after I'm gone, and that changes a little bit of things. You want to make sure as a dad that you're singing things that you feel are morally correct, that you can pass down, and you start thinking about the message you're sending to other people's kids. You know, there's a lot of kids that come to shows and meet and greet, and they're this tall, and they got their Cody Johnson T-shirts on, and it just overwhelms my heart to see that. So I think as a dad, I just pay attention more. And honestly, if this record goes as big as any record could go, my main focus is always still going to be my wife and kids. It really doesn't matter what happens for me.
That's amazing. I want to talk about songwriting more generally because, as you said, you know, you heard this song, you didn't write it. As a songwriter, how do you know when a song that you're listening to is something that is authentic? I think so much of your music is based on reality, what's really happening right around you. So it's got to be an interesting balance of how you find something that's like true enough for you to also record.
You know, that's a great question, and it's really hard to find that balance because as a songwriter, I'm so critical of myself. Like every little tiny thing I'm writing, I want to make sure that it's exactly what I want it to be. And you're right. My entire career has been based off of authenticity. Like I've been quoted saying this 100 times. I'm not good at not being myself. I'm just really not good. I feel like that certain songs, there's a song on the record called Understand Why. I had a vision on it. I knew that it was for me. We changed it completely from the demo. I got permission from the songwriters to change a few little lines, and I made it me. And when you hear this song, you're not going to believe that I didn't write it. Also, there's a song on there called Y'all People that was written in part by the brothers Osborne, and it's kind of tongue-in-cheeky. It's kind of fun. You still believe it, but I knew that they had a better ability to write that kind of tongue-cheek fun thing that I didn't. If I'd have done it, it would have come across a little weird. So in all reality, I'm relying on these songwriters to tap into parts of me that maybe I'm not as good at as them.
Awesome. Let's talk about how this song is getting released because we've already alluded to it a little bit. You are signed with a major label for the first time in what has been an already extremely successful career. Tell me about partnering up with Warner.
It was scary.
Sure.
It's scary. Whenever when you've been doing something by yourself for 10 years, it's really, really hard to let anyone in that circle because you don't want to taint what you have. Over the years, we've been blessed enough to be offered a lot of major deals, and no disrespect to any of those people. It just wasn't the right timing. It wasn't the right deal. There was a lot of control wanted, and basically, I'm going to boil it down to this. The reason why that I signed a partnership with Warner Nashville was because their mindset was, we don't want to change you. We don't want to change the way you look, the way you sing, the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you do your social media, the way you do your touring. They complimented us in that they had a lot to learn from us on the ground portion of the touring, and we needed them as far as distribution and radio play. The fact that this is the first single, which I feel like is the countryest thing on the record, speaks volumes that they're going to be pushing me alongside of these other artists that have a different style of music to the same radio stations. And in retrospect, the last 10 years of not getting played on radio is really helping me at this point. And it's a great feeling. I'm excited.
I love that. We've seen this work well with other people who have had extremely successful independent careers. Josh Abbott Band, when they signed a label, it did great things. Where do you see this going? Like, what do you have in your vision? You just played in front of 78,000 people. What is it that you want to take this career to?
If I'm being 100% honest.
Let's be 100% honest.
Or I could lie to you. In all honesty, I've always said I wanted to leave a mark on this industry, a positive mark. Something that when I'm long and gone, somebody can say, the music business, the country music business is better in this way because of Cody Johnson. And that's the legacy I'd like to leave in my career. Like I said, my legacy with my family and the man I am and who I am is much more important to me. But I would like to bridge the gap. I feel like that there is long since been an overall outlook of independent artists and what they're capable of, where the ceiling is, and kind of where their world exists. And so far, we've broken through that ceiling and we've not looked back. We've acted like there's no return. And that's a good feeling to know. I feel like I'm pioneering new ground here, and I know the pressure that's on to be successful. So it's the old rodeo side's coming back out. Like, I'm in this to win this, man. I want to take this as far as I can.
Amazing. We're going to get a full album in early 2019. It's called Aint Nothing To It. What are you saying with that title? I love it.
I'm going to let you take your own depiction of that. Everybody out there watching, the album is called Aint Nothing To It. When you hear the song, you're going to be pleasantly surprised by the content, but I can see how that title looks a little funny.
I'm curious, you're finished recording, right? Yeah. So when you look at the album now, I think you said what you like most about it is that it's the only album of yours that you've also enjoyed listening to after you've made it.
Yeah, and that's crazy because, as an artist, you pour yourself into the studio time and into the making of it, and then by the time it's done and it's out to everybody, you're going, oh my God, I don't want to listen to music for months now. And when I hear, because I play live so much, whenever I hear my recordings, they don't always come back the way I want them. I'm always, I didn't like that, or we've changed this on stage. This album was based off of what would I want to hear when I got in my pickup truck. I don't feel like that there's one kind of country music. There's not just traditional. There's progressive. There's neo-traditional. There's all these 90s eras. And we tried to explore all the influences from a little bit of Southern rock side, a little bit of a blues side. And we've really just taken a lot of avenues of exploring who I am and what I want to listen to while still maintaining that main vein that is what we do.
When you think about how this fits in with the previous music that's been released, do you see longtime fans are gonna be like, great, good, this is like exactly what we come to Cody Johnson for? Or where do you see sort of the growth and the evolution in terms of sound?
Well, I felt like when we released Gotta Be Me, the last time, that we were going to catch a lot of flack because of the things we did, because some people like exactly what they like and there's no room for the creativity for the artist there. And the general consensus that I got back was, man, it's the same thing, just better. Right. And that's what I'm hoping this is. As soon as I signed with a major label, I started catching oh, well, let's watch how the music changed. Well, spoiler alert. It was produced, recorded, and done before all that. So this is 100% me. What you're going to get is absolutely 110% the progression of my music that I feel like this is the best way to portray it.
What is your preferred studio environment? Is it very regimented? You know what songs you're going to work on that day? Or is it kind of like freewheel and the whole band plays and you figure out where everybody wants to go?
Me and Trent Willman have a really good system down. He knows
the producer for anybody.
By the way, that's my big brother, mentor, producer, and he knows how to talk to me in a way to bring out the best, even if it's sometimes really hard constructive criticism. He also knows whenever I'm passionate about something and I see a vision on it to just step out of the way and kind of follow. And it's a really, really great thing. Most of the time, it's close people to the music, my family, friends, band members, A&R publishing, management, people that I really value their opinion of it. And we keep them in there close. And we kind of have a semi-program of what we do, but mostly it's just, let's just have fun. A lot of the times we're letting our band in Nashville that's recorded the last 3 albums, hey man, what do you guys feel like playing this morning? And they're so used to being told, this is what we're gonna do, this is when we're gonna do it, this is how we're gonna do it. What do you guys wanna play? Man, we kinda like this one. Well, have fun, go at it. And we capture that. And we don't track individual instruments at a time, we play full band. Yeah, we go back and do overdubs and edits and all that stuff, but it's very much a full band atmosphere, which is fun.
I love that. How soon, I mean, you play out live a lot. I think you sold 500,000, concert tickets last year. Something around there. When you've got new music waiting in the wings, is not playing it live the hardest thing about sitting on an album?
Oh no, we're playing it live.
You play it?
Yeah, come see the show. If you want to pre-sneak at the album, come see a show because we're already playing like half of it.
I love that.
I can't take it, man. And plus, this is the thing. Even whenever, so take Gotta Be Me and Cowboy Like Me, the past 2 albums, when I would write a song and I would filter it through Trent and filter it through my wife and my manager Howie, and this is a good song. First thing I've done is take it to the audience and go, I just wrote this song, and I can immediately see the reaction from people. Our live crowd is what my entire career has been based off of at this point, so why not let them pick and depict I want them to shape my opinion, because at the end of the day, they're the ones I'm feeding it to.
There are a lot of artists who are not ready to play a song live until people are going to know the words, because they don't like when everybody stops dancing or singing along. I mean, are you ever nervous? Are you ever in the middle of a new song, you're like, this one is it's not working. How do I bail?
No, I don't. No, when my switch is turned on, I don't pay attention to any of that. I'm very focused on what I'm doing. And if I do my job, you will be paying attention.
Right, that's true. You have been playing live in some capacity really since you were like middle school age. How did you know you wanted to be a musician? Do you even remember life before recognizing that desire?
No, I really don't. I think my earliest memory as a kid hearing music, I just got asked this question today, actually, and I've never been asked, but my earliest memory as a kid was my dad playing the piano, playing Floyd Kramer. If anybody knows who that is, Google it. But anyway, so my mom and dad both sing. My grandparents on both sides, very musically inclined. Talent shows in high school, FFA talent teams in high school, it just kind of always, I've never been asked that. I really don't remember what it's like to not play music.
I mean, when you took the stage for the first time, it was natural. You clearly enjoy being up there. Or did you have to sort of teach yourself how to lead a crowd?
Actually, it was an FFA on this talent team at a convention. My wife was actually there. We had not met. She was in the crowd, and we were singing. I can't even remember what song we were singing.
Also in this crowd.
Yeah, we were. I forget what song we were singing, but I said something, and all the girls screamed and got real loud. And I saw the video, and you can see it. And I went, I was like, there's something to this, man. There's something to this. Little did I know that one of the girls screaming in the crowd was my wife.
That's so cute. You recently played in front of what was your largest show by a margin, obviously. We mentioned it earlier, 78,000 people were at the Houston Rodeo and Livestock Show. What does that mean to you? What was it like to stand in front of all that noise? I mean, especially as an independent artist.
Very humbling. the first year that we played Houston, we were a call-up whenever Old Dominion had to cancel. And it kind of felt bad. You know, it was a death in the family, and I felt kind of guilty, like getting that spot. And the way we approached it that night was, all right, guys, we're here. This is the big time, and let's play this as if we're not ever going to get a chance at this again, because who knows, you know, so leave everything you got on stage. Don't walk away from the show with any regrets. Then we find out that we're going to play it the next year, and I'm going, okay, let's sell it out. That's the goal. Let's sell this thing out. Little did I know that we were going to be the first independent artist to ever sell it out, and that was extremely. I didn't know that until after the show.
It's better not to know until after.
They told me till after. They didn't tell me till after the show, and I was going, "Oh my God, exactly." I'm glad you didn't tell me that beforehand. I'd have been dazing off in the middle of the show, and it was crazy. That's the most challenging stage I've ever played on. So the center, for those of you that don't know, the center turns. It's a Texas star. Every star can go all the way down to the ground, or it can go 40 feet up in the air. And I said, I'm going to need a mic stand at the end of every star. And they said, for what? I said, because I'm going to go up on every star, hopefully twice. And they were like, well, nobody's used them yet. I was like, well, get ready to give this thing a workout. So during sound check, we actually counted the seconds that it would take once it got to the top. Counted 3, 4 Mississippi or something like that, and it started going down. And I would count to where I knew that if I just turned around and started walking, I wouldn't fall off the cliff. And it was very, I fell in love with it. I was in my element. I love that stuff, and I can't wait till every stage we play is like that.
Is there anything behind the scenes that people didn't see that went wrong with this elaborate plan you had?
No, there was one point that I've never actually told anybody this. So at one point, I went to walk out on a star, and I was looking out into this huge, massive crowd at NRG Stadium, and I went, oh, I needed my microphone. And I had to run back over there and grab my microphone off the stand so I could make sure that when I got out there, I could actually sing.
Really just the one thing that you needed to remember.
Just a tiny little panic attack, not a big deal.
You know, I would think with every goal that you accomplish, a new goal sort of arrives. Yeah. When you do something like play in front of that crowd, what does it make you think about for your own live shows? How big you want to be, where you want to play, any dream venues that are still out there you're trying to get to?
So I think the cowboy in me is always going to have that drive. That rodeo background is always going to kind of be, you're only as good as the last one. You're always go somewhere else, new horizons, new mountains to climb, and that's just who I am. I'm not happy unless I have that challenge hanging over my head, that chip on my shoulder. When I was a kid, I watched Garth Brooks live at Central Park, and it changed my life. And I knew at that moment that I really wanted to do something big, but I wasn't sure yet. At this moment, you know, we played the Gramercy here in New York City, and that night I said, you know, there's a really, really big dance hall down the road, guys, and it's called Madison Square Garden. Yeah. And I was like, and I'm not going to stop till we play it. I'm not going to stop till we sell it out. That's where my head's at tonight in the Gramercy is Madison Square Garden. And we do that all the time, where we play in the shadows of these big, huge stadiums, and that's, look at it, guys, look at it. That's where we're going. That's where we're headed. I always look to the top of the mountain, and I'm just hard-headed enough I might pull it off.
That's awesome. I think that's a great note for me to end on. We do have some questions in the audience that we're going to get to.
Sure.
Hey, Cody.
How are you?
Good. We're from Texas, so we love our Texas country music artists.
Said you were from Corpus, right?
We're from Corpus Christi, yes. And so it's interesting because we've watched you play back from 2014, you know, in these smaller venues, and then now have gotten to a point, like she talked about, where you're playing in venues that we can't even get a ticket to because they sell out so quickly. And there's a lot of country artists, but you seem to have this bigger Twitter following. You seem to have these bigger showings, these sellout crowds. Just wondering what you attribute to the difference between you and some of these other country artists that I know that you like from Texas, but you've just kind of pushed yourself out there, and you know you're sitting in New York City today in an interview. What do you attribute that to?
Well, first of all, if you come to any one of my live shows, you're always going to hear the same thing. I give every bit of the glory to God, Jesus Christ above, because I promise you that's the only reason why. There's a lot of places I could be besides sitting here, and I've tried my best to do everything I could to go down those avenues, and somehow God always kept his hand on me and put me here. Second of all, guys like Kevin Fowler and Roger Krager and Randy Rogers and Aaron Watson, all these guys from Texas sat me down very early on and said, here's what we did and it didn't work. Here's what we did and it did work. Here's what we didn't do that might work for you. Don't do this, don't go there. And sometimes it's not always the right opinion. You have to be able to decipher through that. But my point is that I've been mentored by a lot of people going, go. Get out. Don't just stay and do these things. Go. Drive and take it as big as you can. And to know that you have that support system, not only of your management, of your wife, but of your peers. I've never looked back. You know, like I said, I'd like to be that artist that would be able to take that whole, if you're from Texas, you stay in Texas, and open the door and go, look, guys, the door's open. Here we go. Let's take this thing, and not have to sacrifice who you are or your music or whatever. And I think that's in the back of my mind, that's always a goal. Hard work, a lot of hard work. There's a lot of hard work that goes on that nobody sees, a lot of miles away from your family. So I think that's about all you contributed to.
We've got right here.
I don't know if this thing's on. Big Texas country music fan. Really curious to know, with you being an independent guy, like a lot of your country fellow Texas guys down south, is you guys have you've built your brand and authenticity on just that circuit down south in Texas, and obviously hearing some of your comments about where you want to take it and looking into the top of the mountain. Do you think you have any concerns or fears about losing your true, genuine audience that got you to here by not being able to maybe go to, you know, John T. Floors and Billy Bob's as much as you have in the past, and you're starting to expand on other locations maybe that you never had a presence in to go where you want to go? Do you have any fear of not being able to do what you started out doing?
No, and that's a really good question. So I'll take this out of Texas and put it in perspective for you. The other day we played in Castle Rock. We headlined the rodeo in Castle Rock and played in front of 6,000 or 8,000 people out in the middle of this rodeo arena. So the Grizzly Rose, which is kind of the John T. Floors of Denver, which I have a really great relationship with Scott and all those guys over there, they were the ones putting it on, their security. And so we're all kind of back there reminiscing like, dude, you remember whenever you played 2 nights at the Rose? And remember the first time you couldn't even bring anybody in there? And just said, man, what do you think about me calling you on a Wednesday night? I'll show up on a Thursday night. We'll send it out on socials. Hey, Cody's playing tomorrow night at Grizzly Rose for free. Those kind of ideas will always be in the back of my head. And here's what I have to say to any of the fans. Stick around and watch, because money, fame, all this glitter that's offered by the position that a lot of people think that I'm in doesn't mean anything to me without holding my integrity of who I am. If I change my music, if I change the way I look, the way I talk, the way I'm talking to you guys right now, this has all been for nothing. And I'm never going to lose those roots. I think that it would be really cool to take it to the largest capacity that could be and still be able to maintain that and still be able to please those people, because I feel like that's groundbreaking as well. I get your question, and I know your perspective of a lot of people haven't been able to do that, and I think it's because it's a lot more challenging to try to do that. A lot of people forget, move on, but I've always said dance with the one that brought you.
We've got one more question. Oh, right here.
Hey, so I was wondering, who is your guilty pleasure artist? If there is one, yeah.
That's a really good question.
I listen to a lot of rock. I've got a trainer on the road. We do a lot of CrossFit stuff. And so you would be surprised the rock music I listen to. And some gangster rap somehow gets thrown in that.
Fits in
and it's really funny because people will see me on the road and we're out working out and they're going, are they listening to Ice-T right now? Like, yeah, we are, really are. Southern rock is really huge. And I have the hots for Patsy Cline. My 2 daughters can sing crazy right now.
That's awesome. You guys, well, On My Way to You is out tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.